Normally when I start one of these videos with a guitar in my hand, it means I'm going to sing something, and I may get to that at some point in this video, but the topic I would like to address is one that is very important in the spiritual life, one that does not even have the benefit in the dictionary of being an official word, even though it's something that Paramahansa Yogananda and Swami Kriyananda both used very frequently in their language, and they were both excellent wordsmiths. The word is attunement. Attune is a word, and to tune in is a concept. To tune up, like you would tune up a musical instrument, for example, is actually a helpful image to keep in mind, because that's, in a sense, in a very real sense, that's what we're doing in order to practice attunement. We are trying to get our vibration in harmony with another vibration, or you might say in tune with a deeper vibration of our own. And we can do this. Those who have a guru, attunement would naturally be to the guru. Those who do not have a guru, that attunement could be to a scripture, could be to life itself, could be to wisdom and deeper understanding. But attunement requires a couple of factors that are critical to the practice. The first one is we have to learn how to listen. And listening means that we are actively able to understand what is being expressed. We are actively able to receive it and reproduce it or understand it from the inside out. So in a musical sense, we want to attune to, and most musical instruments in the West at least are tuned to A440, the note of A. 440 hertz means 440 cycles per second, and that's often done in history. That was done with a tuning fork. In the modern day, we can do it with electronic digital instruments. This is an A tuned to 440, and it's pretty close. It's not exact, but it's near. That's another A, and it's not quite in tune. And I'll give you another example of, and there it's getting closer. You can hear, and I'll give you a better demonstration of being able to hear another example. So here are two notes that should be the same. Sorry. So you can hear that they are pretty close. They should sound like the same note. If they don't, you can sort of hear that wiggle. And that wiggle is how we learn attunement. Obviously, musically, we can get our ear sort of sensitive enough to hear that kind of vibration. And tuning up a guitar, we learn the relations between the notes. So those two should have a certain distance from each other, and we get the sense of the harmony that the two make with each other. In our lives, we have to get sensitive enough to be able to hear what we're trying to attune to in the world around us, in the guru if we have one. And we also need to learn to listen inside so that we can reproduce that vibration sensitively. So I'll give you an example, which is that it's very easy in this world to have an erroneous idea, to feel that we are correct because we think it. And often life will come along and disabuse us of that notion in one form or another, whether it's through another person, whether it's through the events of our lives. Sometimes we find that we've been driving in the wrong direction. I don't know if you've ever had this experience. It's happened to me a few times, and it's very disorienting. You're driving along at night, along a freeway, probably a very monotonous stretch of freeway, and a relatively unfamiliar stretch of freeway. And at a certain point, you start wondering, am I actually going east or west or north or south, or am I actually going the opposite way? You know that you're on that freeway and that freeway runs north, south, or east, west, or whichever set of directions it runs. But for a moment there, you're actually sort of questioning, gosh, this doesn't look familiar, or, there aren't enough signs along the way to sort of gauge, oh, okay, so the numbers are getting bigger in this direction, or they're getting smaller in this direction. Okay, well, that means that I'm going north or south or east or west. And like I said, it can be very disorienting. That's why we need to learn to listen. I have worked on sound editing at different points, sometimes with the audio of these videos, just to sort of clean up the ends and so on, not so much to edit the exact wording of a video, because then you would have the mouth talking and the words not equaling the mouth, and that's very disorienting also. But it's interesting to see in a sound editing program, you see the waveform, you see the actual movement, and it's coming off of a center line. And as soon as a word is spoken, there's a vibration up and down, up and down. It's almost like when you whack a tuning fork and then you place it on, say, a guitar, a violin, some sounding board. If you hold it to your ear, you can hear the note. But if you place it on a wooden sounding board, that vibration gets, broadcast very loudly. And in our lives, we have to find the still point in the center. That's where we can actually hear the voice of God, the voice of intuition on the inside. How are we ever to do that? Well, one way to do it is by practicing meditation, because meditation teaches us to go into stillness, to go into silence. And at that point, we can begin to hear, okay, that's how silence feels. That's how stillness feels. Now I have a reference point from which to project, from which to move outward. Because all of us in life, it's interesting, even science can give us the message that our own bodies, our own hearts, literally our own cells, our own molecules are projecting a certain vibration, a certain melody, if you will. And if that melody is harmonious, then there is health in our cells. We are a vibration. We don't just have vibrations. We literally are a vibration. You can justify that by saying that the material of our body is made out of energy. The whirling atoms are vibrations of energy. And we have to project that vibration truly in the world, which is to say we have to know. The saying, know thyself, is true on deeper and deeper levels. And that's one of the things that meditation can give us. But the act of attunement is not just a physical act of learning to put a guitar in tune, a harmonium in, a musical instrument in tune. It's also a question of our own selves. It's there's an art to it, in other words. It's not just the science of moving something. Okay, twist that knob. No, that was a little too far back. But yeah, there you go, right there. That's one level of it. That's kind of the mechanical level, but there's an art to it. The art of the thing is the feeling of the thing. And we can't express attunement in our hearts until we've awakened natural love. The natural love of God, of truth, of lifting ourselves higher on the scale of awareness, which is to say higher in the scale of life, towards love, towards light, towards peace, towards calmness, towards harmony with life, then we can express our vibration in such a way that we can, at the same time, this is kind of a choral analogy also, because this is something we have to do when we sing in a group. We have a part that we're supposed to sing. Other singers have a part that they're supposed to sing. All of that has to stay in a dynamic balance with each other, which is to say we have to sing our own part faithfully, but in reference to, in conjunction with others who are singing their parts faithfully. And we all have to be able to listen. And when that happens, listen and sing, listen and project at the same time. And it's quite a good challenge to do. And it's not just something for those musicians among us, it's all of us are musicians of life, which is to say we have to learn to project our own vibration harmoniously into the life that is around us. And when we can do so, life responds back more and more harmoniously. And we begin to understand the messages that life is giving us, or if you have a spiritual teacher, a spiritual guru, the guru gives us, in very direct ways sometimes, reference points or a structure to tune into, a structure to follow, a pathway to follow. And that message gets clearer and clearer the more we approach it with attunement. So in your own life, try practicing this concept. Develop the art of listening. Develop the art of learning to project in harmony, in tune with what you hear. And you will find that life itself becomes progressively more and more harmonious. Namaste.